The headline reads, as diplomats scramble, Israel says response to Hezbollah to be harsh but contained. All right. So they're saying that Western diplomats are urging de-escalation. Israeli officials are saying that they're going to have they will, conduct a serious response, but they don't want all-out war. Well, of course they don't, because they can't fight it. I mean, Israeli officials speaking to Reuters said Israel wants to hurt Hezbollah but not drag the Middle East into a regional war, while other Israeli officials told the wire service that the IDF is preparing for the possibility of a few days fighting. Now, I think have you ever heard any Israeli official actually saying that? Because this is anonymous. Who knows if they actually said this? But publicly, when have they ever said they don't want a war? The Lebanese say that, Hezbollah say that, but the Israelis say, oh, we're going to bomb you back to the Stone Age. We're going to do to you what we did to Gaza. This is what Israelis say. So I don't believe this, that they don't want a war. But, militarily speaking, I know that there's some, I'm talking about the politicians now, but militarily speaking, you have strategists in the Israeli army who are conscious of the fact that, if they start a war, they're going to get crushed. And so those are the only people that you will find in the spectrum of Israeli, colonial society who are a bit hesitant to actually go to war with Lebanon, because they understand that things have changed. It's not 2006 anymore, or the 1990s. It's going to be very, very, very difficult. I mean, we talked about this yesterday. So what's happening with diplomats now? They're basically going and telling Lebanon, Hezbollah, they're saying to them on behalf of Israel that you should just let Israel come and bomb you. They can bomb like a bunch of empty targets or targets that don't have a lot of value, and just to put on a show, just to please the colonial settler society in Israel, and that's it, and just to look tough. But don't start a war, don't respond. And Hezbollah's answer to that is go to hell. I mean, in so many words. They're basically telling them, no, there's no compromise. We're not going to let the Israelis come and bomb us. If they do something, if they start something, there will be an equal response, a measured response. There's not going to be, we're not going to hold back. We're not going to let the Israelis bomb something and then hold back and not respond. We're not agreeing to anything. That's the answer from Hezbollah. Okay? So, again, that shows you that there's not going to be any compromise. There's not going to be any wiggle room for the Israelis. If they want to start a war, they're going to start a proper one, and not some like minor response, like, okay, I'll just scratch you a little bit, claw you, and then that's it. We put the claws away. No. Here, I'll show you this video from Ali Murtada, which really says it all. Okay.
Hello, my enemies. May you have a very, very, very bad day. I have a quick advices now, because Netanyahu is threatening to bomb Lebanon and I have too much work. So, how much you can last without electricity? If you can't last without electricity now, you must go and buy a generator, buy a candles, prepare yourself, because it will be no electricity in Israel. By the way, we don't have electricity from years here. How much your work or your presence are near the port of Haifa? Go now, run now, because the port of Haifa, it's maybe a target and it will be hitting. If you hit the port of Beirut, he's already bombed. You already bombed it years ago. And I know that you are very attached to your trains and you use them a lot, but you can now, you must stop, because all the trains will be stopped in the north. Everybody is living in Haifa must leave now, because Haifa, it may be the first target that will be hitting. Akka also, Naharaya also, all the north. You can go now. I saw you go to Eilat. It's a good move. Anybody is still there, go away. Don't risk it. Don't risk it. Netanyahu is crazy, and maybe we will make dabki in your mouth. So run now. Don't risk it. And now you can use Ben Gurion Airport. You can go from Ben Gurion Airport. But I think if you hear that Israel bombed Beirut Airport, it's sure that Ben Gurion Airport will be on fire. So look, there is too many action ahead of us. Us Lebanese are always in action. You are new in this, so prepare yourself. And I hope that you had the baddest luck. Take care, ya baby.
Yeah, he's always doing videos like this from the front. They're very funny. But he's not saying anything wrong. I mean, yeah, we are in 2024, and this is not going to be like previous wars where the Israelis can go all the way to Beirut and bomb something as significant as the airport and strand everybody and, cause a disaster. No. This is the first time in history where the Israelis have to think twice, think 80 times, 100 times before they can bomb Beirut airport. That's never happened before. There's never been a red line. There's never been a deterrent. So do you understand what Hezbollah have done in the last months? They have created a successful deterrent. They are deterring, they are putting the Israelis off from bombing Lebanese people. And that is unbelievable. That is a significant military and strategic victory. Just in and of itself, never mind the fact they're drawing troops away from Gaza. So look at the Israelis. He was talking about Eilat, which is on the Red Sea, Rashrash. This is the line of cars of Israelis fleeing the north, where you have the Golan Heights in Lebanon, and going all the way down to the Red Sea to get away from the fighting, because it's going to be the worst in the north, right? This is the line of cars.
לא יודע מה קורה, אבל תראה, זה הכניסה לאילת. עם ישראל בורח, מגיע לאילת, תראה, זה לא נגמר. לא, זה לא נגמר, אני אשאר איתך עד שזה ייגמר, זה לא נגמר. וואו, פשוט מטורף.
I mean, this goes on for another minute. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to keep it rolling so you can just see. Okay, in case you're in any doubt. This is the atmosphere in Lebanon, okay, because they want people to be scared, and they want to conduct psychological warfare against them. But this is the atmosphere in Lebanon, in the south, okay? The caption says an atmosphere of great tension in the south. It's basically sarcasm, They're celebrating. They don't give a crap. They're not scared of the Israelis. You get the idea. I don't think there's going to be anything big. I mean, I shouldn't make a prediction, because look what happened today with this rape civil war amongst the Israelis. Anything is possible, really. But I'm leaning more towards there not being an all-out war. It's not enough. Again, those were Syrians who were killed. They're Syrian children. The Israelis don't care. And no amount of US support is going to take away the fact that they are vulnerable right now. The Israelis are vulnerable. And again, this whole thing, this episode now with this mob is actually it's convenient in a way, because they can save face if they don't strike, and don't have to draw blood to please their colonial society. They can just say, well, we had to quell the mobs and the unrest that was overtaking and gripping the country and overrunning all these bases, right? So we couldn't deal with Lebanon. That's a nice way to back out and to take advantage of the situation. Again, don't misunderstand me. I'm not suggesting that the Israelis manufactured the rape, mobs for that. No, I'm just saying they're taking advantage of that. Maybe. Don't make no mistake. Those mobs are real. They actually believe that the Israeli soldiers have done nothing wrong, and you should be able to abuse prisoners. They really believe these things. They actually believe this. That's what Israeli society represents. So what I'm trying to impress upon you is the change in the equation when it comes to Lebanon. There is a very strict regime of deterrence that's been imposed on the Israelis. It's insurmountable. They don't even need Iran, to back them up, but Iran is doing that anyway, so that also reinforces it. And they are in a position of weakness on all the fronts, militarily, politically. They're divided. It's very, very difficult for them to do anything. If they are stupid enough to do that, now again, if they are actually stupid enough to do that, and the Israelis are that stupid, I mean, look at how they're humiliating themselves today. Look at how long they've been in Gaza. It's possible. If they do that, it's going to be the final nail in the coffin, because with Hamas, the thing, it's dragged out. It's dragged out. And with Lebanon, Hezbollah have the ability to cause a lot of damage in a very short amount of time. You know, really sting the Israelis, really sting them. And it's ironic I'm saying that because they've been using all of these last 9 months to systematically, bit by bit, destroy the defenses that the Israelis have without escalating it. But that's a different strategy. I'm not talking about that. That's different. That is what created the deterrence. I'm talking about if it goes into a war, there's no longer any deterrence. It's a conflict. In that situation, they can hit all the economic sites, the air bases, chemical storage facility, oil tankers, naval base, you name it. There's nothing off limits. There's no part of the map that Hezbollah can't hit. And that applies to the Yemenis. The Yemenis can hit any part of Palestine. The Iraqis can hit any part of Palestine. I mean, Iran can hit any part of Palestine. We're no longer in, 20 years ago or 40 years ago where, they just didn't have the technology, the missile technology or the other capabilities to do that. Now they do. Everyone has it. The whole resistance axis has that capability. Even Hamas can hit Tel Aviv, can hit very, very deep into occupied Palestine. So, the whole game has changed. The whole game has changed. And that's why people, they're not intimidated by this. And nor should they be. The Americans have put out a video today from their embassy in Beirut telling people to leave, that, make sure your passport is fine and, get out now while you can. And I mean, when have they not been saying that? They've been saying that this entire war. They've been saying that for years. Everybody says that. The Saudis say that. The French say that. They're always telling people to get out of Lebanon. Okay. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. Okay. And honestly, from a counterintelligence perspective, you could even, if you wanted to scare people inside of Lebanon, what you would do and what you could do is you could get all the embassies that are allied with you to put out messages precisely like this, giving the impression that a strike is impending, because it's psychological warfare. So I'm just, thinking out loud about that. But again, there's nothing to read into it, I think. As I was saying, on the contrary, they've always been doing that. So that's the latest update for what's happening in terms of an all-out war. I mean, look, how many times have I come here myself and talked to you about this possibility in the last months? It's true that you have little peaks of tension where it looks like it's going to head that way, but the trend is not leaning towards a war. On the contrary, everything is great the way it is right now for Hezbollah. Great in the sense, obviously not with the civilian casualties in Gaza. No. What I'm trying to say is that if things stay the way they are, they're still, moving the front away from Lebanon and into occupied Palestine. They're pushing and pushing and pushing. They've emptied all these lands, which belonged to them originally, to Arabs. They've emptied them of Israeli settlers. So, those are two objectives fulfilled. They've drawn Israeli forces away from Gaza. So, I was just talking about the death toll in Gaza. It would be even worse if Hezbollah were not involved. Yes, if you can even imagine such a thing, it actually would, because a third of the Israeli forces were sent up north just to deal with Hezbollah. Okay, half of the Israeli deaths, this is again according to their fake figures, are on the Lebanese front. They're not in Gaza. Okay, so I'm just saying that to impress upon you that if you leave things the way they are, Hezbollah don't need an all-out war to cripple the Israelis, their economy, their settlements, the military. They've already been doing that, and they've been doing it especially in a way that doesn't lead to escalation, which is, the best outcome politically and militarily. It's perfect. No one in Beirut is being bombed. No one in Lebanon is being hurt. You have 100 civilians that have been killed, but I'm talking about like thousands. It's not comparable to the previous Israeli bombings. There's no all-out war. It's calm relatively, and they are able to maneuver in proportion. So when these and reciprocate, when the Israelis go very, very deep into Lebanon, Hezbollah have no fear to do the same thing. Right? They know it's not going to go into an escalation because they've established deterrence and dominance over the Israelis. So it's amazing to me watching and reading all of this Western mainstream media when the way they talk about Lebanon. It's like, they have not changed their staff. I mean, literally since the last wars, it's the same people, and they're just regurgitating garbage. They don't want to make Israel look weak. They don't want to make Israel look bad. So they just have to keep talking about a response is coming, and Hezbollah are going to really be sorry this time. So this is garbage. What they're saying, it's trash. The reality indicates the complete opposite. the Israelis are going to be sorry, and they're very sorry already. So the stupidest thing they could do is go into an all-out war. And if they want to do that, then, you know, Hezbollah are happy to oblige them and bring on their demise more rapidly. It makes no difference, one way or the other. This only ends with the Israeli colony disappearing. There is no other way. And it's not my opinion. I'm just telling you how things are looking based on the last months. This is, you know, it's just... It's the same result. It's just which road you want to take. Do you want to do this slowly or do you want to do this quickly? If you want to do it quickly, Hezbollah can oblige you. That's it. Again, YouTube demonetized my channel because I'm not allowed to say naughty things about Israel. You know, telling the truth is forbidden. So if you are able to donate a few dollars on PayPal or on a monthly basis on Patreon, please consider doing it because it would really help me continue my journalism and support independent media. So I'd be very grateful. And the links are in the description and also in the chat. Thank you guys very much again for all your donations and all your kind comments. I appreciate it very much.